The term dialect is used in two distinct ways to refer to two different types of linguistic phenomena. One usage, the more common among linguists, refers to a variety of a language that is a characteristic of a particular group of the language's speakers. The term is applied most often to regional speech patterns, but a dialect may also be defined by other factors, such as social class. A dialect that is associated with a particular social class can be termed a sociolect. A dialect that is associated with a particular ethnic group can be termed as ethnolect, and a regional dialect may be termed a regiolect. According to this definition, any variety of a language constitutes a dialect, including any standard varieties. The other usage refers to a language that is socially subordinated to a regional or national standard language, often historically cognate or related to the standard language, but not actually derived from it. In this sense, unlike in the first usage, the standard language is not itself considered a dialect, as it is the dominant language in a particular state or region, whether in terms of social status or predominance or prevalence, or all three. Meanwhile, the dialects subordinate to the standard are generally not variations on the standard but rather separate but related languages in and of themselves. For example, most of the various regional Romance languages of Italy, often colloquially referred to as Italian dialects, are, in fact, not actually derived from modern Standard Italian, but rather evolved from Vulgar Latin separately and individually from one another and independently of Standard Italian, long prior to the diffusion of a national standardized language throughout what is now Italy. These various Latin-derived regional languages are therefore, in a linguistic sense, not truly dialects of the Standard Italian language, but are instead better defined as their own separate languages. Conversely, with the spread of Standard Italian throughout Italy in the 20th century, various regional versions or varieties of Standard Italian developed, generally as a mix of the national Standard Italian with local regional languages and local accents. These variations on Standard Italian, known as regional Italian, would more appropriately be called dialects, in accordance with the first linguistic definition of dialect, as they are in fact derived partially or mostly from Standard Italian. A dialect is distinguished by its vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. Where a distinction can be made only in terms of pronunciation, the term accent may be preferred over dialect. Other types of speech varieties include jargons, which are characterized by differences in lexicon, slang, patois, pidgins, and argots. The particular speech patterns used by an individual are termed an idiolect, standard and non-standard dialect. A standard dialect is a dialect that is supported by institutions. Such institutional support may include government recognition or designation, presentation as being the correct form of a language in schools, published grammars, dictionaries, and textbooks that set forth a correct spoken and written form, and an extensive formal literature that employs that dialect. There may be multiple standard dialects associated with a single language. For example, Standard American English, Standard British English, Standard Canadian English, Standard Indian English, Standard Australian English, and Standard Philippine English may all be said to be standard dialects of the English language. A non-standard dialect, like a standard dialect, has a complete vocabulary, grammar, and syntax, but is usually not the beneficiary of institutional support. Examples of a non-standard English dialect are Southern American English, Western Australian English, Scouse and Tyke. The dialect test was designed by Joseph Wright to compare different English dialects with each other.